I'm Jalen Banks in Rock County with the latest.
Universal free school lunches became commonplace during the pandemic, but were left out of the recently passed state budget. We'll tell you why, and why frozen funding for after-school programs by the Trump administration could close hundreds of boys and girls clubs all over the country. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Thanks for joining us. Susan is off this week. The 40-year-old man accused of abducting a pregnant Beaver Dam teen is set to appear in court tomorrow. Gary Day was extradited from Nebraska and faces 4 felony charges, including child abduction and enticement. Authorities say Day is the father of 17-year-old Sophia Franklin's unborn child. She was found safe in April, 2 months after an Amber Alert was issued. Day remains jailed on a $2 million bond. We'll have more on the case here and on our website, channel3000.com. And the man accused of poisoning 2 women he went on dates with is now bound over for trial in Dane County. 43-year-old Paul Van Dyne of Madison charged with 2 counts of attempted intentional homicide and stalking. He and co-defendant Andrea Whitaker allegedly used chemicals to poison several women, including leading to hazmat investigations. The preliminary hearing for Van Dyne is set for tomorrow, but it was waived. He and Whitaker will be arraigned in Dane County August 5th. They face more charges in Rock County. A Janesville man is dead after crashing into a semi on I-3990 near Stoughton this morning. Happened about 6. The 37-year-old man was driving northbound near Highway 51 when authorities say he crashed into the semi-trailer, stopped on the right-hand shoulder. The driver died at the scene. The 22-year-old semi-driver was not injured. The State Patrol is now handling that investigation. High carbon monoxide levels prompted a brief evacuation at a 55 and older independent living community yesterday afternoon. It was about 2 in the afternoon. Fire crews called to the Parkside Village Center due to a gasoline leak at an underground parking garage. When crews arrived, they found alarmingly high levels of carbon monoxide in that building. The source was found and crews ventilated the building. According to DeForest Windsor Fire and EMS, there were no injuries reported. In Rock County, a deputy is hurt after a weekend arrest turned violent. A 67-year-old man is now facing charges for a 4th offense OWI and also resisting arrest, causing substantial bodily injury to an officer. Our Jalen Banks is live now in Rock County with an update on the story. And Jalen, what can you tell us?
Eric, the initial court hearing for James Kettle, the 67-year-old Edgerton man who was involved in the OWI and bodily harm incident to a Rock County Sheriff deputy this past weekend. His court appearance wrapped up around 3:20 this afternoon. Now on Saturday in the town of Fulton, Rock County Sheriff's officers responded to the 11,000th block of Godey Road for reports of a hit-and-run crash. Kettle was arrested for his 4th OWI offense and felony resisting and causing bodily injury to an officer this afternoon. In his court appearance, he received 2 felony counts, one for that 4th OWI and one for causing injury to that officer. Now, bond has been set for $5,000 and his next court appearance is set for July 22nd.
To review the criminal complaint. And I am concerned, based on the totality of the circumstances, with the safety of the community, based on the behavior that is alleged in the complaint.
In the court appearance this afternoon, the incident was also described as a road rage incident. Now, as for that deputy that was injured in the court appearance, they described his injury as a soft tissue injury. This afternoon, I spoke with a captain from the Rock County Sheriff's Office, and they shared with me that the deputy is recovering and he's doing okay. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we gather more information on the deputy and this particular case. But for now, reporting in Rock County, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Now we take a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joining us in studio. Warm one today, and it's going to get even warmer tomorrow, Alex.
Yes, a couple degrees warmer as we head into Tuesday, and then Wednesday is going to be a carbon copy of Tuesday. Highs on Tuesday, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. We're going to inch up the humidity levels as well, with heat index values as high as the low to mid 90s. We'll do 88, though, the mercury showing on the thermometer in Madison at an 87 in Baraboo, 86 in Janesville, 88 to the northwest in La Crosse. And as I mentioned, even we're going to just repeat that as we go ahead into Wednesday. And that's going to be the fuel for showers and for thunderstorms as we go into Wednesday evening. More on that in a few moments. 85 in Madison, 84 in Janesville, 87 in Lone Rock, and 87 to the north in Camp Douglas. Here in Dane County, we got 85. The mercury has dropped to 86, Middleton, Verona, Mount Orab, and Cross Plains to the west, and 85 to the east in Deerfield. Planning our evening tonight, staying right up around 80 degrees with sunny conditions. Again, if you're going to take a walk or maybe take the dog for a walk, have some water available. You might want to aim for the grassy spots because those pavement temperatures are pretty hot. Temperatures tonight in the mid-60s, humid stuff sticking around through Wednesday. Coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to track a line of storms and will it impact concerts on the square? Well, I'll let you know when I return.
All right, Alex, thank you. And you're taking a live look right now at our Upland Hills Sky Cam in Dodgeville. You can see some of the haze sticking around from Canadian wildfire smoke as it moves back into our area. This morning, some of the worst air quality in the country was recorded up in Duluth, also in Marquette, Michigan, Green Bay, and Milwaukee. Here's a look at conditions today from airnow.gov. The red circle is Madison there at the bottom of your screen. The yellow shade indicates a moderate air advisory. As you go north, things range from unhealthy for sensitive groups to unhealthy for all groups. Tomorrow, things will start to clear up with most of the state dropping to a moderate advisory level. A new study reveals that nicotine exposure from nicotine pouches in young children rose more than 760% between 2020 and 2023. The study looked at cases of children under the age of 6 who accidentally ingested nicotine through products like vapes, gums, and lozenges. Most exposures, aside from nicotine pouches, fell after 2016. According to the CDC, pouches are the second most used nicotine product among young people. That may draw children in because they have higher concentrations of nicotine and taste good, according to a study co-author. For some students, being in school provides them stable meals 5 days a week. A proposal in the recently signed state budget would have made that accessible to all students. But what happened? Political reporter Will Keneally has more.
In schools, lunchtime isn't just about the food on the plate.
Well, as a teacher, I know that when students come to school hungry, they can't focus on their learning.
That's why some politicians in the Capitol want to make lunches free for all students.
And so the governor had put universal school meals as a piece of this budget, which did not make it across the finish line.
At places like Madison's Chavez Elementary School here, they're providing free lunches during the summer to all kids. Now, that is a program that was expanded to all kids during the school year, during the pandemic. Now, as that program has winded down, educational advocates say that is bringing additional hardship to some students.
Without a universal school meal program, we're seeing that fewer families are choosing to opt in, which raises costs for other families. And oftentimes, we are missing an opportunity to not only feed our kids, but to help when it comes to mental wellness.
Madison State Rep Francesca Hong has been pushing for universal free school lunches for a couple of terms now. That includes a standalone bill outside of the state budget.
Food security for our kids is more important than ever. And we have the funds to do that with our state, and we should be feeding all kids.
Hong is a Democrat, and her bill last session failed to even get a hearing. We spoke over the phone with the Republican chair of the Assembly Education Committee, and he tells us that universal free school lunches are too expensive for Wisconsin, and that schools would rather spend the funds on other priorities. Advocates say, though, it's an expense that Wisconsin should take on.
I want to ensure that every child in every school has a nutritious meal. Sometimes the school meal is the only meal that the child has every single day.
Reporting on Madison's southwest side, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Hong has introduced a universal free school lunch bill again this year, but it's not likely to make it through the GOP-controlled state legislature. Over 20 states, including Wisconsin, are suing the Trump administration over frozen funding for after-school and summer programs. The administration is withholding more than $6 billion in federal education grants, impacting the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and public school programs. 1.4 million children and teenagers in the U.S. use those programs. Some of the 926 Boys and Girls Clubs in the U.S. will close if the money is not released in the next 3 to 5 weeks, according to a spokesperson for the organization. A Forever stamp will now cost 78 cents, 5 cents more than what it was. The cost of Forever stamps has steadily climbed since being introduced back in 2007 when they cost just 41 cents. Overall, the Postal Service is raising prices by 7.4%, also increasing the cost of certified mail by 90 cents, first class by 13 cents, among other increases. The United States Postal Service says that the increase is needed to achieve financial stability. This new price will take effect on July 13th. The value of cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, has hit a new record today, trading at over $122,000. Bitcoin's value has doubled in the past year. It could continue as the House of Representatives takes up legislation meant to make the U.S. a safer place for digital currency. The legislation already passed the Senate and would create a system for regulating cryptocurrencies and keep the Federal Reserve from creating its own digital currency. Generac Power Systems will cut the ribbon on a new facility in Beaver Dam on July 24th. That facility, 345,000 square feet, supports an increased demand for Generac industrial generators, according to a company spokesperson. There are currently 130 employees, with 190 more positions expected to come by the end of this year. Generac makes generators, solar battery storage, and EV chargers for commercial and private sales. Generac also makes residential power washers. Well, we take a live look as all is quiet at the duck pond right now until the Northwoods League All-Star Game, which is set for Wednesday night. The Mallards beat Fond du Lac last night 10-4 to finish the first half with a 2-game win streak and a 7-6 overall record, good enough for third place in the West. The All-Star Game at Warner Park Wednesday evening with a 6:35 first pitch. The Mallards' next home game is slated for next Sunday. And Alex is back next as we look at the forecast for that game Wednesday, as well as concerts on the square and in Texas, how search and rescue teams from right here in Wisconsin are trying to help in the aftermath of the tragic flooding there. And on Wall Street today, the Dow surging 88 points. The Nasdaq gains almost 55. The S&P 500 up about 9. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Wisconsin firefighters are in Texas helping search for flood victims after heavy rains paused operations over the weekend. Members of Wisconsin's Urban Search and Rescue Task Force and Swiftwater team left nearly a week ago now and included people from Green Bay, Appleton, Menominee, Beaver Dam, and the Menina-Menasha fire departments. Wisconsin Task Force 1 leader Doug Vrachek says the team is working 12-hour shifts searching for remains in the debris. Search and rescue efforts are back on today after heavy rain and flooding hit parts of central Texas over the weekend. The storms temporarily paused recovery efforts yesterday due to ongoing flood danger. The death toll across Texas has reached 139, with 166 still missing. Over 2,000 people from multiple agencies are deployed to assist in recovery efforts, along with hundreds of volunteers. Kerr County officials say there is a plan to possibly drain a lake to look for victims.
This tragic event has proven the greatness of humanity. Please pray for the families who were affected. Thank you for blessing Kerr County with kind hearts and love of mankind.
It has been over a week now since a victim was found alive, but officials say the search will continue up to 6 months if needed. A lot of heat today and tomorrow, turning into storms later in the week. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now with your first warn forecast. Could those storms affect concerts on the square? And Alex, we also have the Northwood League All-Star Game at the Duck Pond Wednesday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have good news. Good chances for thunderstorms on Wednesday as this hot, humid air that we have today, especially Tuesday going on into Wednesday, is impacted by a weather system. We're expecting that stormy evening. Thursday, though, in the case of concerts on the square, is a rain option. And just a heads up, that call will be made on 3 p.m. Wednesday. We'll use Future Track here to show you those shower and storm chances as we go into Wednesday. Not a lot going on in the morning hours, but as we head into the afternoon, watch off towards the north and towards the west. Scattered showers and thunderstorms north and west of the Dells, and those slice off towards the south, towards the east at that all-important time, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Good chances for thunderstorms, and many weather models are showing this scenario. We clear on out as we head, or I should say it becomes a little bit less in the way of thunderstorm activity as we head towards midnight on Thursday, with maybe a shower storm Thursday morning, but then skies clear out and the clouds will start to clear out as we head towards Thursday evening, and that's the silver lining. There's that other option on Thursday. If Wednesday's rained out for concerts on the square, we could do Thursday evening, and Thursday evening looking good. Chance of one or two of those storms becoming severe, gusty winds and heavy rain. Can't rule that out as we head into Wednesday. And our temperature is on a roller coaster ride here. Back down to 75 Thursday, 77 Friday, and then those temperatures are going to boost all the way back up well into the 80s as we head out further into the future here. So recap, Tuesday we'll do 88 degrees, 85 on Wednesday, but the humidity will be high. Good chances for thunderstorms Wednesday night. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm Thursday morning, high temperature of 75. Then we'll do 77 on Friday, a pleasant day. Overnight low temperatures, humidity levels are going to drop as we go Thursday going on into Friday. Saturday, Sunday temperatures up around 80. A chance of a thunderstorm as we head towards Saturday. And I'll step out of the way here so you can see the rest of the 10-day forecast here as we head into early to mid next week. Very seasonable for this time of year. Low to mid 80s, and overnight temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s as we carry forth with on and off shower and storm chances. Right now we got 85 in Madison, 87 Lone Rock, 86 in Boscoville, and 84 in Janesville. Here in Dane County, we've got 84s, 85s, 86s. Normal high for this time of year is in the lower 80s, so we're a little bit above that. Sunny skies as we continue to plan the evening with temperatures slowly working their way down into the 70s, and then we'll do mid 60s for low temperatures tonight. So you may want to have that AC on tonight. We'll do 66 in Madison, 67 in Baraboo, and as we head into Tuesday, there's that really very warm and humid day, and Wednesday is going to be a carbon copy of the temperatures at least, but then we will have those shower and those storm chances building in by the time we get in to Wednesday night. And real quick here, a viewer photo from Juneau County. Pretty scene here. Thanks so much, Sandy sending us this weather photo. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to go all the way out to the end of July and give you a first forecast for how warm we may be and how wet or lack thereof we may be. That's coming up at 6.
All right, Alex, thank you. Ahead at 5, the latest from Washington as questions continue over the Jeffrey Epstein case and how the president is pushing forward to help Ukraine in its fight against Russia. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
9 people are dead after a fire rages through an assisted living facility in Massachusetts. At least 30 others are injured. Firefighters responded to the Gabriel House around 10 and were met with heavy smoke just east of Providence, Rhode Island. About 70 people lived there. Some were hanging out of windows looking for rescue. Many were taken to nearby hospitals. 5 firefighters suffered minor injuries.
I went to my apartment door, my room door. I opened it, and all the smoke from the hall went right in my face, and all that I could do was just stand there and choke. And I thought it was going to be the end of everything.
An investigation into the fire's cause is ongoing. The building's owner is cooperating. President Donald Trump has defended Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Back in 2019, Epstein was facing federal charges of sex trafficking when he was found dead in his jail cell. Some believe Epstein had a client list, including celebrities and politicians. Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel now say there was no client list. Critics are accusing Bondi of covering up the truth and demand she release documents related to the case. Meanwhile, President Trump held a phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky this afternoon after he announced a deal to send billions of dollars in weapons to Europe, most of which will make their way into Ukraine either directly or through NATO partners. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
During a meeting with NATO's Secretary General Monday, President Trump announced a new deal with European allies to provide Ukraine with more weapons to protect itself against Russia.
This is billions of dollars worth of military equipment is going to be purchased from the United States, going to NATO, etc. And that's going to be quickly distributed to the battlefield. Ukraine will take it up.
The weapons will include Patriot missiles for Ukraine to defend itself against repeated Russian aerial bombardments. President Trump has grown increasingly frustrated with Russia's attacks while he pushes to end the war.
We actually thought we had probably 4 times the deal. I mean, you were called and you said, this looks good. And then the deal wouldn't happen because bombs would be thrown out that night, and you'd say, we're not making any deals.
In addition to sending more weapons to Ukraine, the president is working with congressional leaders on a bill to increase sanctions against Russia.
They said they'll have it as quickly as I need it. So we'll see. We're talking to him. In fact, John Thune's coming over later on to talk.
The bill, which has bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate, would impose sanctions on countries that purchase oil from Russia, including Brazil, China, and India, which could face a 500% tariff on goods imported to the U.S.
We're going after the people who keep Putin in business, and additional sanctions on Russia itself. This is truly a sledgehammer available to President Trump to end this war.
While President Trump has not yet committed to supporting the bill, Monday he threatened additional tariffs on Russia if they don't agree to a peace deal in 50 days.
And Senators Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, the co-writers of the bipartisan Russian sanctions bill, are having dinner this evening with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte to discuss the sanctions package on Capitol Hill. A final check of your First One forecast after a short break.
A year ago, this South Dakota family lost everything. Since then, they've rebuilt their lives. A story of strength and recovery is tonight's Eye on America.
And how much would you pay for this rock? How about $2 million or more? What's behind the astronomical price? Later on the CBS Evening News.
And after that, coming up at the top of the hour, federal funding cuts that put the future of the Boys and Girls Club in question. Arman Rahman looks at the action being taken to try to keep this program running. Again, that story and more next hour. News 3 Now at 6. A reptilian crime fighter joined the ranks. This was at a police department out in Arizona. Bowser, the tortoise, was found wandering the Sierra Vista streets last year when the department decided to adopt him. Turns out the tiny tortoise makes a big difference. The police chief encourages officers to take breaks and feed Bowser, saying his eating has a calming effect. Bowser also helps connect the community with the department in his next campaign, reminding drivers to slow down in school zones. I can't think of a more perfect creature for that job. Alex is back with a final check of our First One forecast.
Yeah, if you like the hot and humid stuff, and some people really do enjoy the heat and the humidity. I know you do.
I don't mind the heat. I don't like it when it gets crazy, but I don't like the cold as much.
Well, and this
don't have to worry about that right now.
No, not at all. Very July-like Tuesday, highs 88, even Wednesday 85. That's above normal. Lows around 70. Got that muggy stuff. Concerts on the Square I don't think is going to be a go Wednesday evening, but there is that Thursday option. We'll make that call at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Then temperatures staying in the pleasant range Thursday going on into Friday. Then we're back up to those July-like values. Coming up at 6, I'm going to take us even further than 10 days. We're going to go all the way out to the end of July. I'll let you know if we're going to be above normal, below normal temperature-wise, and precipitation-wise.
I don't know if I like that. It makes me feel like summer is about to end or something.
Zipping us through.
You're just rushing this. I don't like rushing summer. Thanks for watching News 3 Now at 5. Coming up, the CBS Evening News. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. You can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.